Good day everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create a simple text, a simple code design, a simple code design. So this is what we'll be replicating, and I'll be using CodeLab for this design. So the first thing I'll do now is to make my background black, like here. So I came to the panel for our background. So anything you want to do to your background is that panel that controls it. So now the next thing is to add text. Add text, then tap text, and then we tap edit. So I just have to type the code. Don't make your assumption a conclusion without experimentation. And then I'll add the code mark. Yeah. So now the next thing, I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to increase the size to 40. Now I'm going to apply font. Font is right here. This is font. So I'm going to come to my font and then search for Nexa. Yes. So I'll be using Nexa regular for this design. Nexa regular. Don't make your conclusion. Now I'm going to make this text at the middle of this design, at the middle of the page. So I'll be using relative positioning, and then I'll be using these two middle icons. Now, talking about alignment. Yeah, I'm sure you did alignment in the principle of design. So I'm going to align this text to the middle using this. Yeah, don't make your conclusion. Now, if you notice in this design rather, the texts are not too close to each other, unlike this one. They are not too close to each other. So we are going to be using spacing and line spacing for that effect. So we'll be using spacing, let's see, 8. Yeah, 8. And then line spacing of, no, yeah, 10 is okay. So I'm going to make this on one line. Now back to the middle of the page. Now, if in this design, assumption, conclusion, and experimentation, they are yellow, they are of different colors, and they are bolder because that's the main text. I'm sure we also did hierarchy too in the principle of design. Though I'm supposed to make this bigger, as in I'm supposed to make the assumption, conclusion, and experimentation the biggest text in this design. But because I don't want to, or it's not supposed to be, since it's a quote, so I just have to make it a different color for it to stand out. So I come to the color here where you can get different colors from. And then I'm not just going to touch yellow. There's yellow. I'm not just going to touch it because it's going to affect everything. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to select the text I want the color to be changed. So I'll do that to assumption, conclusion, and experimentation. Conclusion, yeah, and experimentation. So now we are going to make them bolder. You come down to the style options here. Then the same thing to select what you need. Let me start with experimentation. We'll be using this B. be using this B. B stands for bold, I stands for italics, U stands for underline, and this one stands for no effect. So for example now, let me use the B. You see the experimentation is bold. Let me now use no effect. It has removed it. Let me use all, bold, italics and underline, and let me use no effect. It removes everything at once. No effect, nothing at all. But we are going with bold. So now bold, assumption, bold 2, and conclusion 2 will be bold. Yeah. So now the next thing is to add the name Minayu. I'm going to copy this here, copy, and then I can edit this text in two ways. The first is to tap this edit here, or the second is to double tap this. So I'm going to double tap because that's the one I prefer. So I'll simply double tap it and then type the name selector. So now, but the name here, the name is smaller, the texts are close to each other, and then it's slant. So we are going to do that here too. Firstly, we are going to reduce the size. Let's reduce the size. No, yeah, 26 is okay. Then we are going to remove the spacing. We'll just tap this, arrow that is here, this reset button. So to just remove everything at once. Then italics, we are going to style italics. So now we are going to align it. I'm going to be using grid here. I'm going to be using grid so that it will be easier for me to align. I'll tap this button here and then use this node. I'll use the node to pull it or to move it. So it's there already. Whoa, it's like that quote is bold. So I'm going to remove that now. Yes. Let me attend to this Minayu first. So I'm going to move it right there. Oosh. Yeah, then I'll move it up a little. I think this is okay. Then the quote sign at the end is bold. It's not supposed to be. Let me take that off. Yeah, so yes, exactly. Now you can see it has affected the grid a little. So I'm just going to move this a little. Has affected the alignment rather. Yeah, now it's aligned. So the next thing now is to add this large quote sticker or symbol. We are going to be coming here, this middle. That is where we can get stickers, emojis, and shapes. A lot of shapes. Though we can get shapes here too, but these ones here in stickers are more of 3D or more fancy. Let me put it that way. So we are going to be, it has shapes, a lot of shapes, a lot of stickers. Stickers are much, so plenty. Wọ́n pọ̀ gan. And then we also have emojis too. So we'll be using sticker, I'll be using that code sticker. We'll be using the code sticker. Unfortunately, we can't search here, so I'll just have to look for it. I'll look for the sticker. Yeah, is it? So I'm going to increase the size. I think this is okay. So I'm also going to use the grid to align it too. But without, don't let's align first because it might be stressful. I might have to displace it. So I can just use this to move the grid a step or some steps backward or forward. Let me use this 10. Yeah. So I know this other one is going to be 90 to 90. Yeah. So now this grid, this sticker, um, this code symbol, let me just move it away a little. Yeah, so that it can rhyme with the W. But leave that first. Let's apply color. Color. So I'm going to be using deep yellow. The deep yellow. Yeah. Then now I'm also going to put one down. So we are going to copy. Yes. Now I have to make this thing upside down. Upside down. So I have two ways. The first is to use rotate. I'll just rotate it. This is very easy. Or I'm going to use the 3D rotate. Look at x-axis. The 3D rotate is for rotating an object as if it's a 3D shape. You see the way it's going forward and backward. So let me just take it forward. And then y-axis, left, right, left, right. So I'm just going to take it either to the right or left. But let me leave it here. So I'm also going to put that. Now I have to make these codes at point whereby the distance from up to this quote is the same as distance. Let me illustrate. Distance from up to this quote here is the same as distance from down to this quote. So now this is the simple logic I'm going to do. I'm going to be using relative position and position for that. So let's start with this one at the bottom. I'll take it to the bottom right using these two. It's at the bottom already. Now position, I'll just have to count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it has crossed that line. Let me move it a little. Yeah. The same thing will be applied here. We'll take it to the top left using these two. And then we'll do our counting. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So also move it. Yeah. Whoa. It looks like this sticker is too big. So I have to adjust it again. Let me delete one. So I have to adjust this. Yeah, I think it's okay this way. So I'm going to copy that again. Do the same thing. 3D rotate. But let me rotate this time. So I'm going to apply the same logic. Bottom right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think this is better. So I'm just going to move it here a little. Yeah. And then the same thing here too. Top left. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now there's enough space. So I'm going to move this don't make your. I'm going to move this main quote and the name. I'm going to move it up to the middle. So here, this button here is the layers button. once you click on it, it reveals everything you are doing, everything in your layout. So I'm going to click on this to select multiple layers. So I'm going to select this and this. And then this edit button here too, it has some functions that we have on this lower panel. So let's see them. Yes, these are the functions it has. Rotate, it has rotate, it has size, it has position, it has relative position, it has lock, and it has hide. Yeah, so we are going to be using relative position. So at the center here, now it's at the center, nothing is disturbing each other. Now the next thing is our background. The background is ash here, but here I have black. So I'm going to the background panel now. The background panel, I'm just going to select ash or gray. Yeah, this one, this shade. Yes, we are getting there. But here, our background is not plain. If you check it very well, it's not plain. It's not a plain background. There's an effect at the back. So we are going to add that effect too. We are going to use another picture. We are coming to this middle panel and we are clicking gallery. So now I'm going to download. Yes, this is the image I used. This image. So that's what we'll be using too. I'll be selecting 1:1 because that's the aspect ratio of our design. So I just leave it there and okay. And I increase the size to cover the whole design, and then to center of page. Now I'm going to move it to the back of all the layers because as we are seeing it now, it has covered everything. We can't even see the quote or the quote symbol. So we are going to move it to the back. We are going to be using these dots. You hold down the dots and then drag, hold and drag here. So now it's at the back of everything, but we have a problem. And the problem is we have yellow text, we have yellow background, and we also have a gray background. So now I'm going to be working with the gray background, not this yellow. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to edit this picture using these color filters. I'm going to change it to gray. So what I'm going to do is reduce the saturation. Reducing the saturation of any picture automatically turns the picture to black and white. A black and white picture has no saturation. So yes, but it's still bright. It's having issues with even the yellow and white. So I'm going to reduce the brightness. Yes, so that the yellow can come out, both the yellow and white. And now it's showing too much. But here it's not really showing, but it's showing that it's plain. That is not plain. But here the background is showing too much. So we are just going to reduce the opacity. This opacity also means transparency. So we are going to increase it. Can you see now? The background is so transparent that we are seeing what is at the back. Okay, let me try it. For you to understand that opacity, let me take it to the front. Yeah, now it has covered everything. Opacity is making it more transparent. More transparent. So what is at the back is becoming clearer. So that's what opacity is about. But let me take it back now. And then reduce the opacity to about 50. Let me use 50, yes. Or 40. Yeah, 40. So it's okay this way. Let's lock everything. By locking our layers, we can't move anything. Either intentionally or by mistake, you can't move anything. But once you don't lock them, oh, you move by mistake, you might scatter your design, you don't know how to do again. Sometimes you might just mistakenly scatter or mistakenly increase the size, and then you get annoyed, you say you're not designing again. But that's why it's always advisable to lock. Yes, I'm using this undo, this button here, to go back. That button is undo, simply means go back to where it was before. So now I'm going to lock everything to avoid moving them by mistake. Now it's saved that way. Now we are done with the design. We want to save it. Save as image. Or let me save as project first. Save as project. You give the name you want to give. Let me just say quote design. Quote design. Yeah. And then you save as image. Save as ultra. Always save in ultra. Ultra is the highest quality. Ultra, and then PNG. Always save PNG ultra because it has the highest quality. Though JPEG too, JPEG is also high, the quality is also high, but PNG is higher. So always save. And then there are sometimes you try to save and to tell you can't save. It's because the quality is very high, so it can't save. So you save in default too, or very high. Let me show you. You save in default or very high. Those ones too are good for saving pictures. But once you can save in ultra and there's no issue, save in ultra. So now our design is done. You saved it. Let's go check it out. Yeah, this is what we just designed, and this is what we tried replicating. Can you see it's almost the same? Or let me say it's the same. Yeah. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Thank you.